I never thought the sound of the front door unlocking could feel like the end of my entire world. It was 6:45 p.m., just past the golden hour when I got home from work, the weight of my briefcase pressing against my shoulder, my mind still buried in spreadsheets and meeting notes. I expected silence, maybe the faint hum of the air conditioner or the soft shuffle of our dog, Max, padding across the floor. What I got instead was the sharp, unmistakable sound of voices, low, urgent, and not my own. At first, I thought it was some kind of misunderstanding. Maybe a friend had dropped by, a neighbor perhaps. But the words were unmistakable. Laughter, whispers, and the soft, intimate sigh of my wife, Caroline. My stomach turned. Every instinct in me screamed to leave, to pretend I hadn't heard, to protect my sanity. But I didn't move. The hallway stretched endlessly as I crept closer, and there it was, the sight that would haunt me for the rest of my life. Caroline, my Caroline, the woman I had loved, trusted, and built a life with, was entwined with another man in the living room. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest, every beat echoing in my ears. The man, broad-shouldered and arrogant, didn't even notice me at first. I should have turned around. I should have fled. But something in me snapped. The rational part of my brain, the part that knew the right move was to call the police, to gather evidence, to leave quietly, was drowned out by a raw, uncontainable fury. "You!" I whispered, my voice trembling with anger and disbelief. Caroline's eyes snapped toward me, and for a split second I thought I saw fear. But it was quickly replaced by that same audacious smirk I had grown to hate over the past few months. "Oh hey," she said, as if greeting a casual acquaintance. "You're home early." I couldn't breathe. The words burned in my throat. "Caroline, who is he?" My voice was hoarse, rough, jagged with betrayal. She laughed low and cutting. "Do I really need to explain myself? You're always so predictable." Predictable. The nerve. My entire body shook, a mix of rage and grief, disbelief and heartbreak. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain she had inflicted. But instead, I found myself walking forward, hands trembling, eyes locked on the man in my living room. "Get out," I said, my voice gaining strength, a dangerous edge I hadn't intended. The man looked at me, cocky and unimpressed. "Or what?" he sneered. "Or what?" Those words were a challenge I couldn't ignore. Without thinking, fueled by adrenaline and pure anger, I lunged. My first punch caught him off guard, knocking him backward into the coffee table. The sound of shattering wood and breaking glass filled the room, mingling with Caroline's shocked scream. "Stop it! Both of you!" she yelled, but neither of us was listening. The fight was chaotic, brutal, and strangely precise. I wasn't trained, but years of suppressed rage and betrayal seemed to guide my movements. I dodged a retaliatory swing from him and landed a hard right that sent him sprawling to the floor, unconscious. My chest heaved, my hands were trembling, and for a moment I just stood there, staring down at the man who had violated the sanctity of my home. Caroline's face was pale, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and defiance. "You didn't have to do this," she said softly, almost pleading. "You didn't have to do this to us," I said, my voice breaking. "To me. To everything we promised each other." For a moment I thought she might cry, might beg for forgiveness. But instead she turned away, retreating to the hallway, as if she needed distance from the wreckage of her choices, and from me. I grabbed my phone, hands still shaking, and dialed the police. The words spilled out automatically, rehearsed in my mind from months of imagining this moment. "There's been an assault. Someone's been hurt. Please hurry." The wait was agonizing. Caroline sat silently on the couch, avoiding my gaze, while I tried to steady myself. I wanted answers. I wanted the truth. But what I felt most was the hollow ache of betrayal. How long had this been going on? How many times had she lied while smiling in my face? How many nights had I gone to sleep thinking we were partners while she shared our home with someone else? When the police arrived, the scene was chaotic but controlled. Statements were taken. Photographs were snapped. The man was carted off in an ambulance after they confirmed he had sustained a concussion. Caroline followed, silent and shamed, refusing to speak to me. After they left, I sat alone in the living room, glass crunching under my feet, heart still racing, trying to process the gravity of what had just happened. This was the home we had built together, the place where we had celebrated birthdays, anniversaries, and quiet Sunday mornings. And now it was tainted, a memory I couldn't unsee. Hours later, Caroline came to me, her face streaked with tears, her hands shaking. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, she whispered, voice barely audible. Like what? I asked, my voice hollow, numb. Like this. You mean getting caught? Or breaking my heart for months while you smiled and lied? She flinched as if struck. Sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I was confused. I made a terrible mistake. A terrible mistake. The words felt foreign in my mouth. Caroline, this wasn't a mistake. This was betrayal. Deliberate. Repeated. And you don't get to just apologize and expect it to be fixed. She dropped to her knees, hands clasped as if begging. Please don't leave me. Love you. I want us to fix this. I'll do anything. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time I realized how little I recognized the woman before me. The Caroline I had married, the one I had trusted with everything, was gone. In her place was someone I barely knew, someone capable of destroying everything we had built together. I can't, I said finally, my voice low but firm. I don't even know who you are anymore. And maybe I never did. The days that followed were a blur of anger, grief, and legal proceedings. I filed for divorce, changing the locks, securing our accounts, and making arrangements to move out of the home that had become a symbol of betrayal. Caroline moved back with her parents, her face pale and drawn, every interaction tense and loaded with regret. I kept Max with me, the only reminder that not all bonds were broken, the only creature who didn't lie or betray me. I spent nights staring at the ceiling, thinking about every laugh, every touch, every whispered promise that had been a lie. I wondered how long it would take to heal, if it would ever be possible to trust again. Weeks later, I received a text from Caroline, simple and stark. I'm sorry. Truly. I lost everything. I hope someday you can forgive me. I stared at it for a long time, thumb hovering over the reply button. Forgive her. The question felt absurd. But in that silence, I realized something profound. I had survived. I had faced betrayal, anger, and heartbreak, and I had not crumbled. I had acted, I had protected myself, and I had reclaimed my dignity. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The act of walking away, of refusing to be pulled back into her deceit, was my own declaration of strength. I let the phone fall onto the table and leaned back, feeling, for the first time in weeks, a flicker of peace. Some scars never fade. Some betrayals are permanent. But life, I realized, moves forward even when trust is shattered, even when love turns into heartbreak. And while Caroline would always be a memory of pain, I would also be a testament to resilience. I had survived the betrayal. I had faced the impossible. And in that survival I found myself again.